Do you remember the GameCube? Launched in the early 2000s, it entered the fray alongside gaming giants like Sony's PlayStation 2 and Microsoft's brand new Xbox. And in the face of that competition, it struggled. It looked like a toy, bright purple, with a lunchbox handle and tiny, strange discs. Compared to its sleek, more serious rivals, it was easy to dismiss. But behind that playful exterior was something special. More powerful than the PlayStation 2, nearly as capable as the Xbox. Home to one of Nintendo's strongest libraries and packed with innovative features, from Game Boy Advance connectivity to surprisingly forward-thinking peripherals. This is the story of a console that was misunderstood, underappreciated, and ahead of its time. This is the story of the Nintendo GameCube. The moment any gaming system launches, plans for its successor must already be in motion. Fresh off the Nintendo 64's release, Nintendo's engineers and executives understood they needed something dramatically different to compete in the rapidly evolving landscape of the early 2000s. The PlayStation had already begun eroding Nintendo's market dominance, and whispers of Microsoft's entry into the console space meant the competition would only intensify. Nintendo's approach differed fundamentally from its competitors. While Sony focused on multimedia capabilities and Microsoft prepared to leverage PC gaming technology, Nintendo doubled down on what they knew best: pure gaming experiences. This philosophy would shape every decision about their new console, from its internal architecture to its bold design. The project that would eventually become the GameCube represented Nintendo's most significant gamble since the original Famicom, betting that superior game quality and innovative hardware design could triumph over raw processing power and multimedia features. Development began in 1998 when Nintendo teamed up with Artex, a group of engineers who had previously worked at Silicon Graphics and already had experience with console hardware. They got to work designing the system's core, including a custom graphics chip called Flipper, and internally the project was given the codename Dolphin. By 1999, Nintendo made things official, announcing two major partnerships. IBM would create the new Gecko processor, and Panasonic would handle the disk drive. With the pieces in place, the GameCube was finally starting to take shape, and it packed some serious power for its time. At the center was Gecko, running at 486 MHz, way ahead of what the Nintendo 64 could do. For graphics, Nintendo used Flipper, which handled visuals, audio, and even input-output all in one. A smart, integrated approach that would become a Nintendo trademark. The memory setup was also pretty forward-thinking, with a total of 43 megabytes split across super-fast RAM types. It meant smooth performance, fast load times, and visuals that punched well above what most people expected from such a small console. Nintendo built the system with third-party developers in mind. More power, lower cost, and a compact size. Affordability came first, space second, but making it easy to develop for was right up there too. When Nintendo officially unveiled the GameCube at a press conference in Japan on August 25, 2000, the gaming world witnessed something unprecedented. The console's distinctive cube-shaped form factor, complete with a built-in carrying handle, challenged every convention about gaming hardware design. Available in multiple colors, including the signature indigo purple, jet black, and later platinum silver, the GameCube looked more like a colorful lunchbox than a traditional gaming console. The GameCube controller was a big step forward. It had a unique button layout centered around a large green A button, making the main action instantly clear. It introduced analog shoulder triggers with a satisfying digital click at the end, and replaced the N64's C buttons with a second stick, the yellow C stick, perfect for camera control in 3D games. Simple, smart, and built for comfort. Nintendo went with mini DVDs instead of standard discs, small 1.5 gigabyte discs made with help from Matsushita. They loaded fast and were harder to pirate, but the trade-off was less storage compared to the full-size DVDs used by other consoles. The console launched in Japan on September 14, 2001, with approximately 500,000 units shipped to retailers. The North American launch followed on November 18th, with over 700,000 units reaching the region. priced at $199.95. This pricing strategy positioned the GameCube $100 below both the PlayStation 2 and the upcoming Xbox, making it the most affordable sixth-generation console. Nintendo's marketing campaign for the GameCube launch represented their most comprehensive promotional effort to date, with a budget of $76 million focused on the slogan, "Born to Play." GameCube's marketing marked a bizarre and unexpected shift for Nintendo. Known for its bright, family-friendly image, Nintendo went dark, surreal, and almost unsettling with its GameCube ads. Commercials featured strange, dreamlike visuals, quick cuts, and a mysterious spinning cube that appeared in nearly every spot. The tone was edgy, abstract, and at times even creepy, completely out of step with Nintendo's usual playful style. The launch window software lineup showcased Nintendo's commitment to diverse gaming experiences. Luigi's Mansion served as the primary launch title, marking the first time since the Famicom that a Nintendo home console launched without a traditional Mario platformer. Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader accompanied the launch. Developed by Factor 5 to showcase the system's technical prowess through spectacular space combat sequences. During the GameCube's launch weekend, Nintendo sold $100 million worth of products in North America alone. The console sold out in numerous retail locations, achieving faster initial sales velocity than both the PlayStation 2 and Xbox during their respective launch periods. By early December 2001, 600,000 GameCube units had been sold in the United States, with Luigi's Mansion achieving higher launch sales figures than Super Mario 64 had managed during the Nintendo 64's debut. The Japanese launch proved equally successful, with between 280,000 and 300,000 GameCube consoles sold during the first 3 days, representing nearly 60% of the initial 450,000 unit shipment. This performance demonstrated strong consumer interest, despite the PlayStation 2's established market presence and growing anticipation for Microsoft's Xbox console. However, early criticisms also emerged regarding the console's aesthetic choices and strategic positioning. Some industry observers described the GameCube's appearance as toy-like, particularly citing the carrying handle that made the system resemble a lunchbox rather than sophisticated entertainment hardware. This perception would challenge Nintendo's efforts to attract older demographics and compete directly with the more mature-oriented PlayStation 2 and Xbox platforms. The year 2002 marked a pivotal period for the console as major software releases began demonstrating the true potential of the hardware architecture. Super Mario Sunshine represented Mario's first fully three-dimensional adventure since Super Mario 64. The game showcased the GameCube's advanced lighting effects and particle systems through its tropical Isle Delfino setting, while introducing an innovative water-spraying mechanic that utilized the controller's analog triggers for precise spray control. Metroid Prime followed on November 18, 2002, marking a revolutionary moment for both the Metroid franchise and Nintendo's relationship with Western developers. Retro Studios, a recently acquired Nintendo subsidiary based in Austin, Texas, transformed the traditionally two-dimensional Metroid formula into a first-person adventure that maintained the series' exploration-focused gameplay. Prime utilized the GameCube's technical specifications to create seamless world transitions, sophisticated lighting effects, and intricate environmental storytelling through visual details rendered at 60 frames per second. The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker premiered in Japan on December 13, 2002, generating significant controversy and acclaim in equal measure. Director Eiji Aonuma's decision to implement cel-shaded graphics instead of the realistic art style shown in previous technical demonstrations shocked fans who expected a mature, photorealistic Link adventure. However, the use of toon shading not only gave the game a unique look, but also helped it run smoothly on the GameCube by playing to the system's strengths. And unlike a lot of early 3D games, it still looks great today. Super Smash Bros. Melee launched in 2001 in Japan and became the GameCube's best-selling title with over 7 million copies sold worldwide. Director Masahiro Sakurai expanded the fighting game formula with 26 playable characters, advanced physics systems, and competitive mechanics that would sustain tournament play for decades. In Japan, the console consistently outsold Microsoft's Xbox throughout the generation, reflecting Nintendo's stronger brand recognition and culturally appropriate software library in its home market. Third-party software support reached its peak during 2003 and 2004, with major publishers recognizing the GameCube's growing installed base and unique technical capabilities. Capcom announced the Capcom 5 initiative in November 2002, promising 5 exclusive titles for the GameCube, including Resident Evil 4, Beautiful Joe, Dead Phoenix, which was eventually canceled, PN03, and Killer 7. While not all titles remained exclusive, Resident Evil 4 became a defining GameCube experience, utilizing the console's processing power to create unprecedented survival horror visuals and gameplay mechanics. The game's over-the-shoulder camera perspective and precise aiming controls demonstrated how the GameCube controller's design facilitated new gameplay possibilities. Sega's partnership with Nintendo proved particularly fruitful during this period, as the former hardware competitor transitioned to third-party development following the Dreamcast's discontinuation. Super Monkey Ball launched as a GameCube exclusive, showcasing creative gameplay that utilized the controller's analog stick for precise character movement through elaborate obstacle courses. Sega ported several Dreamcast titles to GameCube, including Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which featured enhanced graphics and additional content specifically designed for Nintendo's hardware. The GameCube's online features were barely used, with Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2 being one of the only titles to truly take advantage of it. This massively multiplayer online role-playing game required the network adapter accessory, which connected to the console's serial port 1 and enabled broadband internet connectivity. While only 8 GameCube games ultimately supported network features, Phantasy Star Online demonstrated the system's potential for connected gaming experiences that would become standard in future console generations. Nintendo's first-party software development during 2003 and 2004 showcased remarkable diversity and innovation. Mario Kart Double Dash launched in 2003, introducing the revolutionary 2-character kart system that utilized both analog sticks for steering and item management. The game supported LAN connectivity for up to 16 players across 4 linked GameCube systems, representing one of the console's most ambitious multiplayer implementations. F-Zero GX, developed in collaboration with Sega's Amusement Vision team, pushed the GameCube's processing capabilities to their limits, with races featuring 30 vehicles at speeds exceeding 1,000 kilometers per hour. Pikmin and its 2004 sequel Pikmin 2 established an entirely new Nintendo franchise built around the GameCube's capabilities. Designer Shigeru Miyamoto conceived these real-time strategy games specifically to showcase the console's ability to render hundreds of individual characters simultaneously while maintaining smooth performance. The game's AI systems required complex pathfinding calculations that demonstrated the Gecko processor's computational abilities beyond graphics rendering. The Paper Mario series continued with the Thousand-Year Door in 2004, combining traditional role-playing elements with the GameCube's enhanced visual capabilities. The game's paper-thin aesthetic utilized advanced texture filtering and anti-aliasing features to create crisp, cartoon-like visuals that maximized the system's polygon efficiency. Turn-based combat incorporated timing-based mechanics that took advantage of the controller's responsive button layout and analog triggers. Animal Crossing hit the GameCube in 2002, adapted from a Japan-only N64 game called Dobutsu no Mori. What made it stand out was its real-time clock. The game kept going even when you weren't playing. Days passed, seasons changed, and your little village kept evolving. It was one of the first games to really use the GameCube's internal clock and memory in a meaningful way, creating a world that felt alive. During 2004, the GameCube's market position stabilized around a 32% market share in Europe and similar performance in North America, representing a significant recovery from the challenging early years. However, rumors began circulating about Nintendo's next-generation console development, codenamed Revolution, which would eventually become the Wii. This forward momentum indicated Nintendo's confidence in lessons learned from the GameCube generation, while preparing for their next evolutionary step in gaming hardware design. Nintendo's peripheral ecosystem flourished throughout 2004 and 2005. The WaveBird Wireless Controller, introduced in 2002, represented the first wireless gamepad developed by a major console manufacturer. Operating on radio frequency technology, the WaveBird communicated with the GameCube through a dedicated receiver dongle connected to one of the 4 controller ports. Powered by 2 AA batteries, this revolutionary controller eliminated the need for rumble functionality to conserve power, while maintaining all other features of the standard wired controller. The Game Boy Player accessory, released in 2003, transformed the GameCube into a comprehensive Nintendo handheld gaming platform. This ingenious attachment connected to the GameCube's high-speed parallel port, and required a startup disk to initialize all Game Boy variant cartridge compatibility. The accessory featured its own 32-bit ARM processor running at 16.78 MHz, essentially containing a complete Game Boy Advance system within its compact housing. Memory card options expanded significantly during the console's lifespan, with Nintendo releasing 3 official storage solutions. Each memory card could accommodate a maximum of 127 individual save files, with each card requiring 5 blocks of system data for proper functionality. Third-party manufacturers produced higher capacity alternatives, including cards exceeding 128 megabytes of storage space. Connectivity innovations reached their pinnacle with the GameCube Game Boy Advance link cable, enabling revolutionary cross-platform gameplay experiences. The Legend of Zelda: Four Swords Adventures utilized this technology to create asymmetric multiplayer experiences where each player's Game Boy Advance screen displayed private information, while the television showed shared environments. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles implemented similar functionality. This connectivity concept influenced future Nintendo hardware designs, establishing principles that would later appear in the Nintendo DS and Wii U systems. The DK Bongos, developed for the Donkey Konga Rhythm game series, featured 2 drum surfaces and a clapping sensor that detected hand movements between the drums. These controllers supported Donkey Konga 1, 2, and 3 and the platformer Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, which ingeniously used bongo inputs for character movement and jumping mechanics. The ASCII keyboard controller, designed specifically for Phantasy Star Online, resembled a standard GameCube controller, expanded to accommodate a full alphanumeric keyboard supporting both Latin and Japanese hiragana characters. Nintendo took a step into online gaming with the GameCube's broadband and modem adapters, which plugged into a little port underneath the console. Only 8 games ever used them. 5 had online play, mostly Phantasy Star Online titles, and 3 supported LAN. For LAN play, games like Mario Kart, Double Dash, Kirby Air Ride, and 1080 Avalanche let you link up multiple consoles, up to 16 players racing at once. Third-party peripheral manufacturers created an extensive ecosystem of specialized accessories. The Chainsaw controller, manufactured by Nubitech as a promotional tie-in with Resident Evil 4, featured a yellow chainsaw-shaped design with unique blood splatter patterns making each unit distinctive. The Intech LCD screen attached to the GameCube's rear, providing a portable gaming solution when combined with the Intech portable battery pack, which enabled 2 hours of untethered gameplay. The hip-screen controller featured a small full-color LCD display, allowing users to play games without requiring a television connection. The GameCube may have launched in just a couple of standard colors, but over time it became home to some of Nintendo's most interesting and collectible hardware variants. One of the most iconic is the Pokémon XD Gale of Darkness Edition, a sleek platinum silver console released in North America, featuring a bold black Pokeball logo and a silhouette of Lugia on the lid. It came bundled with a matching controller and the game itself, making it a must-have for Pokémon fans and one of the few themed GameCube bundles outside Japan. While this edition was relatively more accessible, it's still a prized item for collectors today. Japan, on the other hand, saw a much wider range of special editions and unique colors. There was the mint green Tales of Symphonia GameCube, released alongside the game as a bundle exclusive. The deep red Char's customized Mobile Suit Gundam model, inspired by the legendary anime, and even a rare Hanshin Tigers console themed after the Japanese baseball team. More understated, but still distinct, were color variants like Spice Orange, Crystal White, and Starlight Gold, many of which never made it to Western markets. Even the controllers got the special treatment with themed designs for characters like Mario, Luigi, and even Club Nintendo exclusives. Nintendo officially discontinued GameCube production in February 2007, announcing the cessation of first-party software development as the company shifted manufacturing and development resources toward the Wii and Nintendo DS platforms. The final officially licensed GameCube release, Madden NFL 08, launched on August 14, 2007, marking the end of a remarkable 6-year software development cycle. Several games originally planned for GameCube release were reworked for Wii compatibility, including Super Paper Mario and The Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess, which launched simultaneously on both platforms. The GameCube's legacy quietly shaped the future of Nintendo hardware. The Wii utilized modified GameCube architecture, enabling native backward compatibility with GameCube games, controllers, and memory cards through dedicated hardware ports. This compatibility persisted through November 2011, before Nintendo removed GameCube support in later Wii revisions to reduce manufacturing costs. The GameCube controller experienced an unexpected renaissance during the Super Smash Bros. Competitive scene, with Nintendo releasing official GameCube controller adapters for Wii U and Nintendo Switch systems to accommodate tournament players' preferences. Final worldwide sales figures reached 21.74 million units, positioning the GameCube behind the Xbox's 24 million units, but significantly ahead of the Dreamcast's 9.13 million. Despite finishing third in the sixth-generation console war, the GameCube maintained profitability throughout its lifecycle and achieved the highest software attach rate of any Nintendo console at 9.5 games per system. This exceptional software-to-hardware ratio demonstrated the loyalty and engagement of the GameCube's user base, validating Nintendo's focus on game quality over market share dominance. The GameCube ultimately succeeded in establishing Nintendo's reputation for innovative hardware design and exceptional first-party software development, lessons that would prove invaluable during the development of the revolutionary Wii console that followed. Thanks for joining in on the trip through the history of this legendary console. If there is any interesting gaming phenomena you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button so you don't miss any videos like this one. See you next time!